Our host, Alfonso Zion So, is all the way in the USA, and so Charlotte will be joining him. Of course, we have some analysts there, and later on, our guest, Mr. Louis, that's Ambassador Louis Brown, will be our special studio guest this afternoon. Let me quickly go and say good afternoon to Alfonso. Alfonso, good afternoon.
Good
Alfonso,
afternoon. Julius, are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you loud and clear. How you coming on?
Okay. Okay. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for being there. How are you doing today?
Well, by the grace of God, today is Sunday, so tell God thank you for life.
Good, good. Okay, so thank you so much for being part of this program, and we are very, very much happy to be here. I saw you get ready. We're going to be taking control right away. Today is the first edition of the program. Let's have this quick commercial, and we will get the ball rolling right here.
Liberia Public Radio, an online platform in collaboration with Sky Radio and TV, presents The Liberian World Today, a 60-minute program that connects the Liberian diaspora to the Liberian nation. The Liberian World Today begins airing this Sunday, October 9 at 12 midday Eastern Time and 4 p.m. GMT. From politics to economics, health to education, the Liberian World Today brings on top guests with different perspectives and potential solutions as they discuss Liberia. Join our host, Alfonso Zienzo, this Sunday, October 9 at 12 midday Eastern Time and 4 p.m. GMT for the maiden edition of the program, The Liberian World Today, on LPR, an online platform, and Sky Radio 107.1 FM and Sky Communications Liberia Online. Don't miss it.
All right, there, folks, there you have it. I want to welcome all of my viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much, Julius. We're going to be taking control here. Time check in the East Coast is 11:59 p.m. A.m. right here in the East Coast. And I know it's almost a little time over just 4 o'clock. In Liberia. Thank you so much for coming. I'm not sure why my camera is going to be okay. But quickly, Julius, how are you doing?
But I'm better. I'm better. We just here in our Pro corner.
In Propo Corner. Okay, thank you so much. And we're going to get the ball rolling. My team of analysts and contributors, this camera will get adjusted here very shortly.
Yeah, I think that just your camera is kind of
Yeah,
blurred.
for some reasons it kind of turned blur here. That's the work of the door, but it will work out. It will definitely work out. I'm not sure what's going on right now, but it's going to work out by itself here. But thank you so much. And let me get my guys going here very shortly before our guests come on here. There's no way that I can get this.
Okay, so folks, you are now listening to the. Okay, yeah, go on, Alfonso.
Okay, thank you so much. So let's get in here. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. We just apologize. The camera there is kind of like blurred, but hopefully they will get better. This is the first edition of this program here, right here on the Liberia Public Radio, and our voice is hovering over our sister network in Liberia, that is Sky FM and television. We want to say a big thank you to them for allowing us to have this conversation here on their network. Somehow the devil seems to be busy, but hopefully the camera will work out here by itself here. But our team of analysts and contributors of the Liberia Public Radio, they are here standing by. Let's see here quickly to bring them in. From Minnesota is Cesar Goya, is a senior contributor of the Liberia Public Radio, LPR TV. There you see him. And from California is the liberal progressive Samson Blaku Branto is also here. Gentlemen, good morning and welcome. I'm not sure who is tampering with this camera here. Samson has come again. This is Samson. Don't do this to me. This is the first of our program here. Gentlemen, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Mr. So. Good morning, Mr. To. I think your camera has been hacked from California. That is my independent analysis showing that right now.
Yeah, let me get my.
Well,
Hear me? Can you hear me, Cesar?
yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I think Mr. So will be back here very shortly, and I'm very happy today for this program, and hopefully that this camera will not do what it's doing. But I'm very much experiencing these type of business when we usually 2 hours before project delivery time, you try to print, the printer goes off and nothing work, and you go crazy. So it's not a strange thing here for me, but I'm glad that Mr. So is doing this. I hope the program will generate a huge audience here today, because the subject matter and the subject itself is very important to the continued discussion about Liberia and the Liberian people. I think this is going to be very interesting here this morning, Mr. So.
Okay, quickly, our guest is standing by. Let me just get your reaction here. Today is the first of its kind. LPR will be echoing and hovering over Liberia Premier, what I would say, network as well. Our sister network, Sky FM in Liberia, will be communicating directly with the people of Liberia. Sister Goya, let me just bring you in here quickly. What is your instant reaction? Our guest is here. We're going to be bringing in here, but let's get your reaction here. What are you anticipating from hearing from the ambassadors and this collaboration that we find ourselves in?
First thing, I think the collaboration is exciting. I'm really excited for it because now we don't only have a limited audience, limited to people who have data and have access to the internet, right? Now we're on radio, so we've expanded the pool of listeners, and because we in LPR are in the business of educating our people, what is political education or academic education or health education. Now we have access to a vast majority of the Liberian population that we can now interact with. And as far as the ambassador goes, I'm excited to hear what he has to say. I hope, and I know the brother is he's very smart. So I hope he brings some substance today, like he always does, and not just give us bare bones. But I know Louis Bryan. I know he's very articulate. He's a very smart man. So I'll be listening to hear what he has to say and what he has to proffer and how he all of those negative things that have been put out there about his selection. I'm hoping to hear from him and how he hopes to move Team Cummins forward and how they hope to move Liberia forward.
Okay, Libra, let me bring in the Libra here quickly. Libra, are you there?
Yes, I am. I also echo. I think your camera is working now, and thank to God that the Libra. Can you put me up so that people can see what the Libra has?
Let the people get my face. Why they hearing you?
I hope your camera gonna work this morning.
This camera
I hope it works.
Here, but that's okay.
So, Mr. So, on a very serious note, thank you very much. I hope that the ambassador, as usual, will be very, very articulate this morning. I know that for a fact, and I think those of us that consider ourselves a political junkie, please tune in today, because this show is not going to be dull at all. This is going to be one of the exciting shows on LPR for a very long time because of the guest, and his choice of words are very interesting, and I think we will enjoy ourselves here this morning. Let's glue ourselves to this program, and hopefully we will get the best out of Ambassador Brown as well. You should have failed. He gives you the best. Whenever he shows himself, he gives you the best, and that's what I'm expecting this morning as well.
Okay, well, folks, gentlemen, I'm still working on this camera here, but what is important is the audio version is dead, so we're going to, he is the guest. I am not a guest here, so obviously we will, he's the center of this whole conversation here, so we're going to have it going here. Just give me a minute as we try to get this going here as well, so to our many viewers and listeners across the globe. I am Afonso Zianso of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Gentlemen, our guest is here. We got to get this ball rolling. And right in, before we get up, I'm going to be bringing you guys here to get this going here. In the meantime, let's get the ball rolling right here.
Okay, good morning, USA. Good morning, good afternoon, Liberia. I'm not sure what's going on here, but just ignore this camera here for some reason. I hope the Russians has not infiltrated the system here. They are the ones good. We want to say a big thank you to our sister network in Liberia for allowing us to have this news content sharing, the first of its kind. The management and staff, the entire workforce of Sky Communications Network and that of the TV. I am Afonso Ziensot of the Liberia Popular Radio. This is the first edition, the Liberian War Today. We have to change the narrative of the talking points in Liberia to be able to get on the issue. We are privileged to have with us a long-time government officials and a diplomat. Ambassador Louis Brown is my special guest. Time is already out here. Let me just bring in. He's already standing by in the suburbs of Moria, somewhere in Liberia there, joining me here. Let me have him yet. Okay, Ambassador, good morning or good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Afonso. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay.
I'm honored by this opportunity to share some thoughts with you about our country. But at the same time, I understand that this is actually a maiden edition of your own connectivity to the Sky network. I'm honored that I can be your first guest as you make this important transition. I want to thank you and everyone else for the work you all have continued to do for our country to inform our people at home and across the diaspora. Thank you so much.
Okay, just bear with me. I might be calling you ambassador. I will be calling you minister. You are involved in multitudes of roles. So whatever comes out to make it much easier, I'm going to go right into that. And hopefully this camera will do us a favor. That's him right there, Ambassador Louis G. Brown, the former ambassador, former foreign minister, and former Minister of Information Republic of Liberia. Okay, Ambassador, thank you so much for honoring my invitation. The last time I had an interview talk, it was more or less humanitarian way during the Ebola crisis when you granted us that interview and that of a WHO country representative. But this time, it's going to be a little change scenario because we're going to be talking politics. How are you doing so far?
Well, we're doing good. We're honored by the opportunity to participate in and share a platform with like-minded Liberians who were, along with us, recently named to a team dubbed Team Cummings. I'm honored by the opportunity. I look forward to working with everyone on that team. I think it reflects the diversity that makes up Liberia. We come from different backgrounds, different experiences. We bring different attributes. Liberia is a place where you even have disabled, and so the disabled are represented on that team. You have those who are educated, they are represented on that team. Those who are not educated, they are represented on that team. Market women, young people, students, people from all walks of life. If you truly want to change a country and lead a united Liberia, in my mind, this is how you do it. And this is why I'm honored. Some of the people I will be working with for the first time in my life. And so I look forward to the opportunity with great anticipation.
Okay, the collaborations or the content sharings of LPR and that of SCAT, we are concerned, both network, in terms of the conversation that is being kept. More or less, entertainment is being incited into the immediate industry, which is not doing our people good. And so both groups, and we want to say this content sharing is at no cost. SCAR did not, we want to make that crystal clear. SCAR did not charge us to air all of what we are doing, but they are because of the core value we believe in and what the directions of the country, both institutions. And let me say this, all questions are drawn up by me and only me, not SCAR, none of my analysts, but they will also be participating. As you know, news is about current events. Let's start right on this front here. Let me take you back home here. And you are in Liberia. You can bring me to the point, Ambassador, if you will. Your party, the National Patriotic Party, right now, what is going on? How concerned are you? You are like a piece of cloth now between the scissors. Do you know what is happening? And have you spoken with anybody with inside the NPP?
I have been engaged with some leaders of the NPP, even before I made a public endorsement of one of the leading candidates who I believe will win the next election, and deservedly so, because of the freshness of his ideas and the new vision and energy he will bring to governing our country, to redeem and rescue us from the failure we're currently experiencing. I consulted with some of the leaders of the NPP. The National Patriotic Party is a strange political party. Unlike many others, it was created in the heart of our country. It's one of the very few political parties, if any, that was created from central Liberia. It brings together people from all persuasions and experiences and diversities. It is a grassroots base. In fact, many of the political parties since our war have elements of NPP impressed on their own, either be their structuring, how they canvass around the country, or even their own membership. So then the NPP, if you look in the CDC, you will see NPP people. If you look across all these political parties, the Unity Party, everywhere, you find NPP people. What is currently obtaining, and I have no authority to speak about it, but I would tell you that the NPP has been in a difficult position of finding itself. Sometimes, like every human being, you get to a phase in your life when you have to reassess where you're coming from and kind of redefine yourself in terms of where you are going and how you intend to get there. And so, but the NPP will survive. That's the most important thing. And I say this with all sincerity and honesty. The NPP has struggled to find itself, but it is doing its best to get there. The fact that it is a political party today that is counted amongst the serious political parties, and it continues to hold its deep grassroots organization and basis, speaks to credits the party itself. Many parties would have been dead by now, but that's not the story of the NPP. So in that search for ourselves and for relevance, there have been some contests, there have been some disagreements, but at the end of the day, the most important thing is that the NPP, I'm pleased to learn that at a convention which just ended, a decision I understand has been reached. I believe the party will confirm it if it hasn't already, that it will continue to consult with like-minded political parties in forming collaborations that are in the best interest of the country.
This seems to be troubling. Talking about NPP, Ambassador Louis Brown, Ambassador McIntosh, you guys, mobilization present, student activists, you nurture, you put this institution together, see what is going on right now. And I'm hearing say they're going to be okay. How possibly can that be? Are they still listening to you? Where do you find yourself? Now you have injected Western politics into Liberia, which is a great thing, working across the air. But that seems to be a little bit troubling because this is an institution you helped to put together, and it got to the presidency. And here we are right now. The two faces of NPP. There's no way the politics of Liberia can ignore Ambassador Louis Brown and that of McIntosh. Two of you guys now in the front yard of Alexander Benedict Cummings of the ANC. How can NPP survive?
NPP will survive because NPP has always endeavored and strived to be more than just the individuals that have been said to be associated with the party. One of the challenges the NPP faced for many years was many have thought that without Mr. Taylor, the NPP will die. That has not been the case because the NPP, if you look at the true history of the party, it was not necessarily begun by Mr. Taylor for Mr. Taylor. The NPP was an effort, a realistic effort to seek a political resolution to the prolonged conflict at the time. So a number of individuals came together and created and formed this political vehicle. Some have passed on now. I'm talking about the late Christian Herbert, the late A.C.T. Fagate, Augustine Ninswa, and a host of others who were not combatants. They came together and realized that the country needed a political solution to the military crisis that we were engulfed in. And that is why the NPP came to exist. Of course, his first standard bearer was Mr. Taylor, who bought into the idea later. And then the NPP has continued to spread out. If you look again, like I said, in all of these political parties, NPP officials have or members have served in leading roles and capacities, helping to build other political institutions. Deep at its core, the NPP has been about change. Now, have we achieved the change we set out to achieve? No, it can be reasonably argued that we have not achieved what we set out to achieve for the country. But it does not mean that we will surrender and say suddenly this is failure. So you find NPP people everywhere in all these political organizations still working for that same intrinsic element of change in our country. And so from the north to the south, the east to the west, I've gone around this country and I've seen old and young carry NPP identity because it's a grassroots based organization, carry NPP identity proudly and basically saying that desire to change Liberia for the better should not have succeeded militarily, thank God, but hopefully we can all continue to work in our country for improved democracy, improved spaces for civic association and respect, improved opportunity for unity of purpose, unity of our people, whether you be Muslim, Christian, whatever tribe, whatever gender, whatever political party. In truth, that has been what the NPP has been about. That was why we formed the NPP. And so it shouldn't surprise you that, for instance, during elections, NPP partisans have taken different paths.
All right. Let me,
Um,
I hate to interrupt. Let me hold you right there. We're going to be moving here and there. We want to make use of time here. Let's come to today's reality of your recent political decisions. You are a politician. For me, it's not a surprise. Take us, let's turn the camera off here. How Ambassador Brown arrived at this point? Were there any initial conversation prior to your public endorsement to Alexander Cummings of ANC? What was the political deal? And I also understand the coalition NPP formed herself with that of the CDC. It did not work. And we all know that it's not a hidden fact. So who knows? Some folks within the NPP, and probably that could be you, finding a different route. You supported the CDC for all of this period of time. Was there any sort of counsel that you provided to this current administration, and no one pay ear to Ambassador Brown, for which he's now taking this decision?
well, I said on another network, and it seemed confusing, that I supported the president with silence. I've seen political leaders offer public counsel, and I've seen how this president has entreated those public counsels for the good of the country. And so my support, quite frankly, was mostly in silence. You know, President, we are 161+% mandate to govern. One of the things I thought was necessary with that size of mandate is to allow the president all of the space he will need with as minimal distraction as possible. So there can be no excuses for his failures. And yet there are excuses. He's blaming the opposition for not doing this. He takes no responsibility. He's blaming the past. Oh, it happened before, so it should happen now. Kind of a justification that makes no sense. So yes, I supported him in silence to allow him the space he will need to lead our country with, and my silence was with hope that he would do the right thing for the country. Unfortunately, after 5 years, I have arrived at the conclusion, unfortunately, that the president does not know what he's doing, and even 12 more years will never get him to the point because he simply does not understand what the office entails. You know, people think the presidency is about the convoys, is about the authority to appoint whoever you want to appoint anywhere and everywhere. Is about the flair, the fluff, the respect, a siren blaring, and then people have to part the way for the president to pass. The presidency is more than that. This is the only office in our country, the highest at that, with so much power and authority, so much influence to affect the life of every single Liberian, whether they voted for you or not. It is important that that person understands the weight of that office, the weight they bear to influence the life of every Liberian at home and abroad. It is a sobering responsibility that one must entreat with a sense of humility and deep honor. So I after 5 years, I found in the president an inability to understand and meet the responsibility that that office provides. And therefore, I was left with no choice. And I said this to some of my party officials. And many in my party know me. I do not vote party. I vote capacity and ability. So I have said to many of my partisans, yes, the vice president comes from my party, but I have seen that this presidency has failed, that the president has disappointed too many Liberians. Certainly, he has disappointed me, and I cannot, in clear conscience, as a Liberian,
Okay,
support a
let me
re-election of the president.
let me hold you there. In your words, you did supported this president in silence. I do not know the reason why. You can best justify a reason why you decided to go silence. But from what we see now in your new political dispensations, there seems not to be silent. 44 team members were organized to be the face of Alexander Benedict Cummings, of which chief strategist McIntyre Gatewood, Dr. Gatewood, and Louis Brandt, number 2. That speaks political volumes into this whole conversation that we are having right now. The presidency of Taylor and that of Helen Johnson Sirleaf, you guys being in the vanguard. And you did mention that let's wait and see if Louis Brandt does not have a weight. Graham Bassett is a very strategic into the process. Julia Duncan Cassell, former gender minister, also in that we see the so-called Supreme Council group of NPP, Daniel Che, is coming. Is that a strategy to demobilize or strangle the ruling establishment? Because you engage with potential will be getting these folks over to Alexander Cummings. Is that a drive you are on now?
Well, everybody on that team, by the way, that's an initial team. I invite all your listeners to listen out for additional names. There will be additional names coming out, added to that initial naming. I should say that people are called, critics, especially from the government side. They're calling it, they're trying to draw the former president into this. I think that's a bad strategy to do that. But it's their strategy. We don't worry about what their strategy is. We worry about effecting our strategy. They know it's a very serious thing. They now know we are very, very serious to stop President Weah because he has failed the country. Take, for instance, Dr. Toga McIntosh Gatewood. They're trying to link him to President Sirleaf. What they will not see is that Dr. Toga McIntosh Gatewood led the 2017 election effort of President Weah. It seems to me to be a slap in the face. It seems to me to be a huge endorsement and a letdown for President Weah, that the man who led the effort to get you elected is so remorseful about your performance that he has now decided that he will collaborate and work with others to stop you from getting re-elected. That is the message they are trying to hide. My party is in collaboration. The NPP is in collaboration with the ruling establishment.
I see that, Ambassador, not to interrupt you. More or less, it's not a message, it's a political suffocation now that is being back to then you want to see it. Louis Brandt, if I do not have a weight, Daniel Che is follow suit. You are telling us now more to come. Are they coming from the NPP belt to prove that you, Gatewood, Che, all involved now, more or less, is going to be to give the president a one term, correct?
They are coming, names you will hear, and names they did not want you to notice in that list of 44. Came from CDC, came from the UP, came from basically all the tribes in our country. Many of the major religions in our country. I shouldn't say all the religions, but Muslims, Christians, people that are way older than me, people that are way younger than me, people that are educated more than me, people that are way less educated, market women, the young people are volunteering in their numbers. People are frustrated. People are disappointed. And all we're trying to inspire. And you know, the other thing they will not tell you, members even of the ex-combatant community, disabled community, are so disillusioned. What people want to see is the kind of leader who will unite the country, the good, the bad, the ugly. And so they're distracting now by saying, oh, they named Louis Brown. Louis Brown, he has one vote, he's a nobody. But it's the same Louis Brown that giving the president sleepless nights. He's going to his church and preaching on the same Louis Brown. It's the same Louis Brown that's shaking fear into them.
Was that a bait knew very well somebody want to go for that bait? Was that a bait you did for which the CDC and the president went right into your political bait to create this conversation? This seems to be diverted now. I'm not sure how, but that's you've been in this for the long years. I believe those were some of the things that were discussed in the strategy war, correct?
Well, you know, I don't know, quite frankly, we didn't set up to set a bait or a trap for the president. But again, if you don't know what you're doing, you will fall for anything. So I could tell them they better go back and look at their list. They probably have a list of more than 100 or so human beings. Many of these people were not even consulted. Many of these people are now approaching us to join us, asking us to name them, that this government named them without their consent. Many of the serious people on their list. So I think this government is in trouble. They know they are in trouble. They are distracting. They want to discuss anything except their failures, except their disappointment. And we will get them to focus on their disappointment. Because, you know, President was elected with so much hope. There was such high expectation, even from in the NPP. It was not because people wanted a job. They tried to create this false impression. NPP people want a job. LPDP, that is part of their coalition. The real root cause of the problem in our government is that the president is not a leader. He is supposed to be presiding over a council of these parties. Mm-hmm. You can't ask them what the last time he even had a meeting. Every promise he made, he broke. Because truthfully, he can't even remember those promises. Yeah, so every party in his that took him to power in 2017, I can assure you, they're reaching out to us now. My phone is blowing up. You will hear names that will surprise you when the next iteration is.
I have followed politics for a little while, so
very good.
Must be something to surprise me. But here is the deal or no deal. You just alluded the coalition with the CDC, MPP, and the other party. It did not work. People get into coalition for political accommodation that we cannot rule out from this conversation here. Now, here we are into another coalition. Some of you guys, folks from the NPP, going in. Is it fair to know, for us to know what is in it, how will this coalition survive from, because other one, it has not worked?
First of all, let me be clear. The misconception is that the initial list of 44 is as if Mr. Cummings was naming a cabinet. There are people that have been running around saying, oh, so this is Mr. Cummings' government. Oh, so if he can name these people, then certainly he cannot claim to have clean hands because Louis Brown worked in previous administration, Toga worked in previous administration. It is as if election should be about exclusion. Election is about inclusion. The 44 members named and the others that will be named. This is not Mr. Cummings' cabinet. Let me be very, very clear. Let me finish this point, Alfonso. Mm-hmm. It's important because a lot of people don't understand this. People are running around now asking. I've seen some posts on Facebook that people are sending to me to inquire. People across the diaspora are saying, but where am I? I've been there before. I was there since 2017. Mr. Cummings has promised to lead a united Liberia, to build a big tent of qualified, competent Liberians from all experiences and persuasions. Now, if Louis Brown has committed a crime, Louis Brown, and that crime has no statute of limitation, Louis Brown will answer for his crime as and when that time comes. This election is about numbers and it is about winning. Jesus Christ himself said, and this is on a Sunday, and I'm not trying to imitate Fucky Clone Church, but Jesus Christ himself said, I did not come for the righteous. When you're building a big tent will include the good, the bad, or the perceived bad, or the perceived ugly. In our country, we pass guilt by association.
Okay, quickly.
Oh, Louis Brown was this, so he has to have been this. But nobody wants to prove anything.
Okay.
What we are trying to do is build a winning coalition first of individuals.
Yeah, that's
and
what
the other thing I need to announce on your show, if you can give me the privilege of doing so, there are political parties that have now made, that have now expressed intention to join the CPP in a broader collaborative effort to end President Weah's, to make sure President Weah is a one-term president. We will be talking to everyone. We will be, and we will not make promises we cannot keep. This is a guiding rule. Everybody on that list of 44 is a volunteer. No one has been promised a job. No one has been promised a ministry. No one has been promised representative position. No one has been promised senatorial position. Everyone basically coming together with a singular purpose of helping to change our country for the better.
Ambassador, can you share with us those political parties that are coming on board for the good of the audience and the Liberian people?
Well, I've broken the good news already on your show. Don't let me do more than that, Alfonso. I know you're good at teasing these things out, but while these things are being worked out, I'm sure you will understand.
Now I see
best.
Now I see the reason.
Come again?
I said now I see the reasons, which was not surprised. Ambassador Brown graduate coming, because honestly, ANC, they have never had a voice. The resources, the financial capability is there, but they have just not had a voice. You and your guy, number one, number two. That suggests to me, potentially you guys going to be the face of this campaign here. For the benefit of our audience, what specific role will you be playing in this campaign 2023 for Alexander Benedict Cummings?
Well, I have volunteered my service and my time, like everybody else on that list, to work with everybody on that list, to work with Mr. Cummings, to work with the CPP, and those who will be named subsequently, and that is an ongoing process.
Mr. Brown,
even the diaspora, we expect the diaspora to have its own leadership as well. But we will be working, and you know why they are attacking me.
Ambassador Brown, don't do this to me. You know me, I know you. When Barack Obama was elected, David Axelrod was the face of the campaign from the guy from Illinois. You coming in here, I know other colleagues, other folks going to be coming in. My question is, what would be your specific role in this campaign? I know you are in it to win. You're not a losing guy. And so if you are not a losing guy, you potentially could be taking the driving seat. What would be your specific role, sir?
My role, and I was trying to explain this to you along with everybody else who are volunteering, will be to ensure we knit a team together because the marching order that we got from Mr. Cummings is that he works building teams. So it's not about individuals. Yes, individuals will have different responsibilities, but in effect, what we will do is to work as a team. We do not come knowing all of the answers. We do not come trying to set others back, say, oh, your ANC or your Liberty Party, you people were not doing this. Now we're here to do this. No, what we're trying to do, and part of my responsibility I see, is to knit a team together. There's no I in team. Work with everybody, those who are named, those who will be named subsequently, and win the election in 2023. It will mean getting Mr. Cummings elected president, ending President Weah filled one term, and getting legislators elected, because the change mandate that Mr. Cummings and others are running on must be across the government. We must ensure that because you see, if you just elected a president and that president does not have a legislature that is similarly committed to change, you're going to have a rift and a friction for maybe an entire term. We want to have a constant. Some of us have been involved in trying to change our country for so many years now. We see this as the best opportunity. So we will maximize it. We will use every opportunity we can. I am avoiding deliberately saying to you or trying to make this about me, Afonso. I know what you are asking,
but
but I'm trying to not make this about me.
I know
this is about our country. This is about our people. This is about the failures we have endured, the disappointments we have endured, and it is about us making a decisive and determined effort to end it in 2023 democratically.
Equally, I know politicians are very strategic in making their statement, in declaring or saying what they want to say. They will be very careful to curve their statements. What is the strength? Election is all about numbers. You from the Basalt Belt, do you think your inclusion with Alexander Cummings, we see in Daniel Chair coming, we see Juliet Duncan Cassé coming, do you see ANC that deepened into the Basalt Belt, which is a good voting bloc as well, to put the president on the finishing tab if he wants to become a president? Is that the strategy to stabilize that end first and foremost?
Yes, but it doesn't end there. We believe in a 73 district strategy. 73 district strategy. We will compete effectively everywhere. The Basalt Belt is important, but it is as important as the Pele Belt. It is as important as the Gribble Belt. It is as important as the Nimba Manogio Belt. What we must understand, Mr. Cummings, the uniqueness about his candidacy. And people say, oh, well, Mr. Cummings, constituency. They look at Maryland, say, yeah, he Gribble, but Maryland are big like Nimba or Monserrado. Well, if you're talking in terms of tribe, then the Gribbles are the third largest tribal block in the country. The Peles are the first, the Bassas are the second. But we want to go more than tribe. Tribe is important. It is an inherent part of our identity. It is an important part of our politics. But we want to build constituencies that that involve people. So you look at the list of 44. If you look at the list of 44, you see people from everywhere in the country, effectively. Because ours is a message of change for Liberia, not change for a county, not change for a district. We want to change. We want Liberians to understand we all own this space together, irrespective of our differences and diversities, which in truth, all of us inherited. Alfonso, you did not choose your tribe. I did not choose mine. So it should not give you an advantage over me.
No.
In anything that concerns Liberia. That is what Mr. Cummings is trying to represent. We're building new constituencies. We are looking to sweep through the Bassa Belt. We are looking to challenge and sweep through the Pele Belt. We are looking to sweep through the Gribble Belt. But more importantly, we're building a coalition, like I said to you, of like-minded individuals who will understand that our diversity should only strengthen us, should only help to identify us as Liberians, rather than be used to not unite us, and that divide and conquer attitude. So much so that if a Lofa man wins, then Lofa can expect to be developed and Grand Crew can expect not to be. We have to change this about ourselves.
Okay,
whoever wins, everybody else must feel a sense of shared ownership, whether you voted for the person or not. And I think this is what Mr. Alexander Cummings brings, an opportunity for all of us to change our country together.
I haven't seen anybody. I've been following all of these political party, political leaders. No one is now actually articulating to the voice the message of ANC than what Ambassador Louis Brown is doing. That gave me a sense could be a potential phase of this campaign here. But let me just bring this here to you. We are running out of time. Some of those who blaming President Weah of the economic and political decline. In the opposition to Mr. Cummings, the guy that you support, recently in the foreign media interview pointed a dark picture of the current state of affairs of Liberia. You, as a former Minister of Foreign Affairs, former Minister of Information, former ambassador at the United Nations, and you work for the Helen Johnson Sirleaf government. Cummings' sentiment, where do you Poya, why did he say what he said in the foreign media?
What was said in the foreign media? That is what I didn't
get. He pointed out, he depicted a picture of Liberia, the current affairs of Liberia, as dark. What was he saying?
Oh, yes, the current situation is dire. I think you may be referencing a speech by Mr. Cummings a couple of a month or two ago, when he said it was not just RIA that was dark. He used darkness to describe where our country is. Look, Alfonso, one of the most painful moments I have had, one of my most agonizing and angry moments, first, having worked on the world stage at the United Nations, I know how embarrassing President Weah's recent visit was. I know what former colleagues that I still communicate with had to say about Liberia, that they once look up to, whether it be from the Peace Building Commission or other places, basically talking about Liberia being a model that other post-conflict countries needed to emulate. So put that aside. because many don't understand that the president embarrassed our country at the UN recently. Many people don't understand that because many people don't live there, don't see it.
We get a little.
I who work there, I know it. But if you were to bring it even home, the president returned on the day people were scrambling for food, for rice, for the staple. He was informed, Mr. President, there's no food. At the airport, a serious, responsible, caring president would have immediately convened a National Security Council meeting, invited his economic leaders and managers. What is this story of no food? No, this president did not do that. He stayed at the airport and that street talk. Then he went on to celebrate his birthday. Free food, free party, free liquor, everything else you can think about.
Ambassador, I
want to make this point. Alfonso, let me just make this point.
Yeah, we got 5 minutes to go.
The day after, Alfonso, the day after, pregnant women, ordinary Liberians who voted for him, were scrambling for food in the streets. But let me tell you what was so worse about this that broke my heart. These people were hanging on the gate of a Lebanese businessman. Now, I don't blame the Lebanese businessman, but the picture of Liberians hanging, scrambling, fighting each other on the gate of a Lebanese trader for rice that is our nation's staple after 176 years of existence. And this president is having fun time. He doesn't understand the symbolism of where this country is. That is a country in darkness.
All right. Ambassador, we're going to leave it here, but certainly there are a lot of undone work here because from all indication now, you will be, it's just my own prophecy. I could be wrong here, but I see you as the face of the Alexander Comey. Do you recognize this building that behind me here?
That's the executive mansion.
Is that where you want to take Alexander Cummings? And will you be in that bidding to maybe Minister of State or to what? Foreign Minister? You serve in those positions. But I'm quite sure this is where you want to take Alexander Cummings and you're going to be ushering 2023 if he wins the election? Is that your goal?
My goal, it doesn't matter to me which building. The most important thing to me is what quality of leadership he will bring. You know, sometimes we worry too much about the inconsequential. You can be a good president from under a tree. You know, like they say, the school is not just the building. It's the quality of teachers and students, the quality of engagement between teacher and student. I am working with Mr. Alexander Cummings so that the leadership experiences he has gained, he can bring to the governance of our country.
We're going to have
so that we can change the way we have always done things in our country.
Okay, we're going to have this. There's going to be an extension here because there are lots still left on the table. We got to get it out of you. But in 1 minute here, just wrap up for us. We are moving strictly on time. I'm going to bring in my analyst for quick reactions before we can get the days going. But what is your final message, Ambassador? Hopefully, we're going to be getting you back here again.
Thank you.
What's your take-home message this Sunday? What's the sermon for all you get? And then Bible quotation.
I'll leave the preaching to the president.
Oh,
but let me say this, Alfonso. Our country is in a difficult place. All of us. And you know, this is so much. This is one time. If any election meant more to our country, 2023 means more. What you see in our country today, Alfonso, and I'm sure it breaks your heart. I'm sure you have too many relatives here calling you, hounding you. That if you don't do something for them, they just may not be able to make it. It is that bad. We need to ask ourselves, and Liberians listening to me everywhere today, will we make this just about politics, just about party, or will we make this about country? I urge you, I urge all of you everywhere.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ambassador.
Thank you.
Thank
Let's
you
make this about our country.
Okay, we are running out of time. Let's bring in quickly here to dissect this talking point. This is Alfonso Zionso, first editions of the Liberian War Today. Standing by in Minnesota is our senior analyst, Scarlett Sese Goyo. He supports the candidacy of Tiawan Gonglo. Let's go to the liberal state of California. The liberal progressive, Samson Boku Bronto with the guy, old man Joseph Boyka. Gentlemen, we are almost out of time, but you listen to Ambassador Louis Brown. Let me go to the liberal state and start from Samson To. Samson To, any change of political mind here from your end today?
Not by the stretch of any imagination. I am still I admire. I am not part of the Joseph Bakai enclave, but I am a admirer of Ambassador Bakai. Now, while I still admire Ambassador Bakai, I think Louis Brown has just shown again today. Mr. So those of us that consider ourselves political junkie, this is a man that I would like to have on this show every day because I enjoy. I don't agree with many of the things, but I enjoy just the way his communication process. It's very interesting, and this is a kind of thing you will come bring people who put adjectives together and things that they speak in English. Is
Okay,
this face? Please, you're gonna have to find something else. You're gonna have to find somebody who will be at the same level for you to communicate effectively with the Liberian people. You can't bring people,
okay,
2-3 adjectives together and then put it out there and people say "sow."
Okay, let's leave it there. Let me bring in Sese Goya. Sese, this thing here, I'm making an educated guess here. Do you think Alexander Cummings and the ANC found their new voice to have Ambassador Brown to sharpen the message of the ANC? Should CDC, Yoga, Tiawan Gonglo, and the others should develop some sort of neverness yet with Louis Brown, Get Jewett, McIntyre coming on board with Alexander Cummings?
Well, first thing, I as an educator, I'm an ardent admirer of the ability of Louis Brown to articulate his message. But should my guy Tiawan Gonglo be worried? Absolutely not. If anything, this gives us more energy and more strength to say yes, we see a clearer pathway to the presidency. Because what this looked like to me today is the ANC found their improved version of a Karas Gray, right? He comes and say, except he is more articulate, his subject and verb are in place, but he comes and say a lot of stuff about nothing. And he goes around, he beats around every bush, right? So the ANC, being an alternative national congress, the alternative to the CDC, just formed their own Akaras Gray. He's a lot more educated and a lot more polite, and a lot more educated and a lot more articulate, just like they formed their own General Powers and General Chair. And so I think the ANC is just replicating what the CDC had done before. But if for me, I wish we had more time because the ambassador weaved around the issue of the NPP. If the ambassador truly believes that he and the likes of Toga, Glow, and McIntosh, they have a force in the NPP, they would have worked within the NPP to ensure that the NPP breaks its collaboration with the ruling establishment and collaborate with the ANC. They couldn't. And so that's why you find them living individually instead of moving the party. So that tells me if you don't have the ability within a political party that you established, that you were a founding member of, and you cannot move that political party to a collaboration, but you have to move individually. That tells me you got no power in your political party. And so you got no base. And real quick, one big thing he kept stressing on was the Basel Belt. That tells me, as an independent observer, that they are now worried that their deal with Ability, they found out that Hassan Ability cannot deliver, it does not have the ability to deliver Grand Bassa. And so now they're bringing the likes of Daniel Chia, they're bringing Julia Duncan Cassell, because they're worried that Yombli Kanga...
Not to interrupt you, politics, you got to be strategic. So this is a strategic move by the ANC to get the political power.
No, but that tells people who are watching that the ANC is concerned, because if you went into a collaboration with the Liberty Party, right, and you felt like you had the votes of the Liberty Party, you won't be focusing this much on the Bassa bill. That's just first. Look at the numbers in there. Look at the heavy hitters that they brought. They are all from the Bassa Belt. And he even alluded to that there was a Bassa Belt strategy before going on to say it's a 70 district strategy. So they understand that they bought a bill of goods that from Musa ability that is worth nothing. And so now they have to go back and redo the work. So their collaboration with the Liberty Party is just on paper. Just like the weight that Louis Brown brings, it's just going to be on paper.
So the liberal.
Yes.
Do you think the political strength of Nyombi Kanga Lawrence here is being neutralized as well by the ANC strategically?
Far from it. My sister is still strong. The leader of Liberty Party is still strong. And nobody gonna dislodge her from that position. I mean, that's not, you can bring Daniel Chair of all people. Daniel Chair of all people, if that's the person you're gonna use.
He got defeated running for a race in the county.
Right. Daniel Chair is the person that you're going to use to bring the Bassa people on board. It's not happening. But besides that, Mr. So, Mr. So, as usual. But let me just make this point here quickly. I think Ambassador Brown's answer surrounding Daniel Chair is something that was not acceptable, and I will explore that on a little show that perhaps we might do later on.
Okay, what, folks, gentlemen, the best of political commentators, analysts, we're going to work behind the scenes and see whether we're going to have an expansion here. I don't know who is having the nervousness, whether from the Boyka wing, whether from the Tiawan Gonglo wing.
We're confident. We're confident.
Yeah. So, guys, I want to thank you so much. We're going to be linking. Let me bring in our man from inside Liberia. The Liberia, thank you so much. And Sister Goyo, thank you so much. Let me bring in our man here. From Scott Network, my man Julius is in studio inside Liberia. Let me bring you here. Julius, are you there?
Okay, so yeah, I'm here. I was
okay.
Right now.
All right, Julius, I want to thank you so much again. What DPS appreciation to the management and staff of the Sky Communication Network in this content sharing. And by the way, this is the first edition. So if you want to advertise, let us know. We can advertise. We can get a commercial rolling as well here. Our DPS appreciation to the management and staff of the Sky Communication Network, the technical team, the administration for such a great job. Thank you so much, Julia.
All right, thank you too. We appreciate you guys as well. We'll be here next Sunday.
Thank you so
much. Okay, so that's it. Have yourselves a wonderful time. As I said, bye-bye from my end.
I want to be back here Sunday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be having an award journalist. Award winner Kai Jerowle is the author of the book Liberty Hijack. He's going to be my guest. This program going to go into every spectrums of the Liberian society, politicians, journalists, technocrats, authors, researchers, doctors, nurses, professionals. They're going to be on this network. I want to thank you so much for today's edition. Until then, I'm Alfonso Z, and so have a pleasant day. Bye-bye.